Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Anubha Rohabki with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says goal of complete development cannot be achieved until agriculture-related challenges are addressed. First G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting begins in Bengaluru. Prime Minister calls upon the world to draw inspiration from vibrancy of Indian economy. Campaigning for assembly elections in Nagaland and Meghalaya at its peak. All India Taekwondo Championship marking 50 years of India-Korea relations begins in New Delhi. And in T20 Women's World Cup, England to clash with South Africa in the second semi-final at Cape Town this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the goal of complete development cannot be achieved until the challenges related to the agriculture sector are addressed. The Prime Minister observed that private innovation and investment are keeping a distance from this sector, which leads to low participation of India's youth in the agricultural sector compared to other sectors. He was addressing a post-budget webinar on agriculture and cooperatives today. Mr. Modi highlighted that various announcements have been made in this year's budget to fill this lacuna. He urged the youth to work towards delivering the right advice at the right time, while creating a bridge of information between the government and the farmer about their innovations and also assisting in policy making. The Prime Minister also touched upon using drones for crop approximation while providing real-time information about weather changes.
आज भारत कई तरह के कृषि उत्पादों को निर्यात कर रहा है। हमने घरेलू और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजारों तक किसानों की पहुंच को आसान बनाया है, लेकिन हमें ये भी ध्यान रखना है कि बात चाहे आत्मनिर्भरता की हो या निर्यात की, हमारा लक्ष्य सिर्फ चावल गेहूं तक ही सीमित नहीं रहना चाहिए.
Prime Minister Modi highlighted the importance given to the agricultural sector in the Union Budget 2023-24 as well as budgets of the past 8 to 9 years. He informed that the agricultural budget, which was less than 25,000 crores in 2014, has been increased to more than 1,25,000 crores today.
इस साल के बजट में कई तरह के ऐलान किए गए हैं. उदाहरण के लिए एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में ओपन सोर्स बेस्ड प्लेटफॉर्म को बढ़ावा. हमने डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को ओपन सोर्स प्लेटफॉर्म की तरह सामने रखा है. ये बिल्कुल उसी तरह है जैसे यूपीआई का ओपन प्लेटफॉर्म, जिसके जरिए आज डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन हो रहा है. डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन में क्रांति हो रही है. उसी तरह एग्री टेक डोमेन में भी इन्वेस्टमेंट और इनोवेशन की अपार संभावनाएं बन रही है.
The Prime Minister said a new revolution is taking place in the cooperative sector and informed that tax-related reliefs have been given in this year's budget, which will benefit new cooperative societies. The first G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting began in Bengaluru this morning. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is chairing the meeting. The inaugural session began with the opening remarks of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a recorded message. The Prime Minister called upon the custodians of world's leading economies and monetary systems to bring back stability, confidence and growth to the global economy. He invited the world to draw inspiration from the vibrancy of Indian economy, Indian consumers and producers who are optimistic and confident about the future.
Food and energy security have become major concerns across the world. Even the financial viability of many countries is threatened by unsustainable debt levels. It is now up to you, the custodians of the leading economies and monetary systems of the world, to bring back stability, confidence and growth to the global economy.
The Prime Minister hoped that others in the world affected by global supply chain, rising prices, food and energy security challenges will be able to transmit the same positive spirit to the global economy as in India. He urged upon the G20 forum participants to focus on the most vulnerable citizens of the world. He stressed that the theme of G20 India presidency also promotes this inclusive vision of one earth, one family and one future. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in her address underscored the need to focus and explore holistic solutions to the most pressing challenges. She felt that the G20 can transform life around the globe by leveraging the complementary strength of its members.
Supporting the countries most in need and reflecting the concerns and aspirations of developing countries will be central to our efforts. We will work closely with the Troika, the G20 membership, international organizations and guest countries to carry forward the exemplary work of G20 presidency before us.
500 delegates from G20 member countries, invitees and representatives of international organizations are participating in the two-day meet. The discussions in this meet are intended to provide a clear mandate for the various work streams of the G20 finance track. The first G20 working group meeting of culture under India's G20 presidency concluded in Khajuraho, Madhya Pradesh today. Our correspondent has filed this report.
During the Culture Working Group meeting, there was a wide discussion on the priorities set by India on 4 important sessions. India had selected 4 main topics for this meeting. These include conservation and restoration of cultural property, using living heritage for a sustainable future, promoting cultural and creative industries and creative economy, leveraging digital technologies for preservation and promotion of culture. The G20 delegates will visit Adibar, the state museum focused on tribal art and culture, while tomorrow is reserved for visiting the Panna Tiger Reserve. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Khajuraho.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back to the Midday News. Campaigning for assembly elections in Nagaland and Meghalaya is at its peak on the penultimate day today before coming to an end tomorrow. Polling in the 2 states will be held on Monday, 27th February. Counting will be taken up on 2nd March, along with Tripura Assembly elections. Polling in Tripura was held on 16th February. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today addressed a joint election rally for the NDPP-BJP at Chumukedima in Nagaland. He asserted that bringing permanent peace to Nagaland is the aim of his government. He said that peace, progress and prosperity for Nagaland are the motto of his government.
आज केंद्र सरकार नागालैंड के हजारों परिवारों को मुफ्त राशन दे रही है। ये इसलिए हो पा रहा है क्योंकि हम नागालैंड को नॉर्थ ईस्ट के 8 राज्यों को कांग्रेस की तरह एटीएम नहीं बल्कि हमारे लिए तो ये अष्टलक्ष्मी है।
Mr. Modi said that Nagaland has made remarkable progress during the last 9 years. He said there has been 75% reduction in insurgency cases. The Prime Minister said that AFSPA has been removed from many places in Nagaland and steps are being taken so that it could be repealed from the entire state. The Prime Minister asserted that his government is fully committed to the welfare of the youth of the state. Senior leaders of NDPP, including Chief Minister Nephew Rio and state BJP leaders are also attended the rally. In Meghalaya, the Prime Minister addressed an election rally at Shillong today for assembly elections in the state. Mr. Modi also held a roadshow in Shillong. Speaking at the public meeting, the Prime Minister said India is achieving new heights and success and Meghalaya's contributions in this is invaluable. Mr. Modi said a BJP government in Meghalaya will help the centre to serve the state in a better way.
भाजपा के समर्थन में ये जो सेंटिमेंट पूरे मेघालय में दिख रहा है, पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में दिख रहा है, उसके अनेक कारण हैं। हमने मेघालय की नॉर्थ ईस्ट के लोगों की बेसिक चुनौतियों को कम करने पर जोर दिया है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट आज भारत की एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी का मजबूत पिलर बनता जा रहा है।
In Chhattisgarh, at least 11 people were killed and 10 others injured in a road accident last night when a mini truck carrying more than 25 persons collided with a truck. The accident took place near Khamaria village on Baloda Bazar Bhatapara State Highway. The persons were returning to their village after attending a family function. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the loss of lives in the accident. He has announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees from PM's National Relief Fund to the next of kin of each deceased in the accident and 50,000 rupees to the injured. The Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia today said that India adopted a whole-of-government and whole-of-society approach in a proactive, preemptive and graded manner for effective management of COVID-19. Dr. Mandavia was delivering his address at Stanford's India Dialogue session during the release of a report. The report is titled, Healing the Economy, Estimating the Economic Impact of India's Vaccination and Related Measures. Dr. Mandavia said, according to the report, India was able to save more than 3.4 million lives by undertaking a nationwide vaccination campaign at an unprecedented scale. He said the campaign also yielded a positive economic impact by preventing the loss of $18.3 billion. India's domestic coal production has shown an impressive growth in the past few years. It has increased from over 730 million tons in 2019-20 to over 778 million tons in 2021-22. This is a growth of 6.47%. The production has further gained pace in the current financial year, recording an impressive growth of more than 16%. Over 698 million ton coal was produced during the period from April 2022 to January 2023 as compared to the corresponding period of the previous year. During this period, the production of Coal India Limited also went up by over 15% to over 550 million ton from over 478 million ton. The increase in coal production has helped the country curb import to a large extent. Justice S. Abdul Nazir was sworn in today as Governor of Andhra Pradesh. Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court, Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, administered him the oath of office at the Raj Bhavan in Vijayawada. The Vice President of Guyana, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, today called on President Draupadi Murmu at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Welcoming Dr. Jagdeo to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the President said that India attaches very high importance to its relations with Guyana as it has been a homeland to Indian brothers and sisters for the last 180 years. President Murmu noted that trade between India and Guyana is on an upward trajectory, and in 2021-22, despite the pandemic, the bilateral trade witnessed a growth of over 300%. She stressed on the need to further diversify the bilateral trade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the airport in Shivamogga, Karnataka will boost commerce, connectivity and enhance tourism. Mr. Modi was responding to the tweet threads by Shivamogga MP B.Y. Raghavendra, wherein he has informed that the dream of an airport in the area is coming true. The airport will establish itself as the gateway of Malanad region's journey to transformation. The chairman of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, Dr. Vivek Debaroy, has released the Foundational Literacy and Numeracy Report, which highlights the focus on language as a critical foundational skill and its importance in acquiring early literacy. The second edition of the report was released at the India Dialogue Conference organized by the Institute for Competitiveness and US Asia Technology Management Center, Stanford University. Sports Secretary Sujata Chaturvedi today inaugurated the 3-day All India Taekwondo Championship in New Delhi. The championship is being organized to commemorate the 50th year of diplomatic ties between India and South Korea. It aims at revitalizing Taekwondo that has been stagnant since the COVID pandemic. The Sports Authority of India is co-hosting the event with Korean Cultural Center India and Korea National Sports University. In the T20 Women's World Cup, England will clash with South Africa in the second semi-final at Newlands in Cape Town, South Africa this evening. Australia have already entered the final. They beat India by 5 runs in the first semi-final last night. Chasing the target of 173 runs, Indian Eads could only score 167 for 8 in the stipulated 20 overs. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says goal of complete development cannot be achieved until agriculture-related challenges are addressed. First G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting begins in Bengaluru. Prime Minister calls upon the world to draw inspiration from vibrancy of Indian economy. Campaigning for assembly elections in Nagaland and Meghalaya at its peak. All India Taekwondo Championship marking 50 years of India-Korea relations begins in New Delhi. And in T20 Women's World Cup, England to clash with South Africa in the second semi-final at Cape Town this evening. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in. And with that, we end the Midday News.